Hey y'all. My hair is always looking a little bit crazy. Cray cray. Oh wait. Don't even know if you guys can hear me. How y'all doing? Hey Janelle. Hey Debster. How are you? Hey Beverly, Arlene, Pepper. Hello, hello, hello. Hey Angela. Who's ready for a strange conversation? Hey Elisa. I'm on Facebook and the YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Oops. How y'all doing? Hello, hello. I promise you guys, this conversation won't be too strange. Although most of you guys already know how strange I am in my extremely unique perspective. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to aim my camera the right way. Nope. Yeah, my very unique perspective. Thank you so much, Arlene, for sharing. Happy Sunday, sister, honey, child, sister, girls. Hey, John. Hey, Geraldine. How y'all doing today? I'm on 3 different platforms. Um, hold your mule. Copy. My other platform, which I have for some time, as a content creator, it's always best to cross post all your stuff. All the platforms give us a way to cross post everywhere. Have I been using it? No. Why? Because I'm done. Sometimes I don't dare going. It'd be too much work for me. And so, hey, Angela, how are you? 10 years at the past of my sister, I always questioned her dad. Oh, well, Angela, you already know how my mind is, right? It's a little bit somewhere up there in the clouds. My perspective, as you know, is very, very unique. Guys, if you haven't followed my other page, I did post a quick reel about this on the Life According to Lena page. And I asked you guys to follow my other page, which is not a new page. I had it way before I even had my Life According to Lena page. And that page is Life and Death by Design. So if you see it says Life and Death by Design in the chat, just follow that page for me, please, because that's supposed to originally be the page for my books. Okay. And since my books is about to come out, which I got to mention something else about Suicide in the Soul book. I wish I would have done that book first. Suicide in the Soul book was supposed to be the second book. The one that I've been working on for a couple of years now was the Contract Life and Death by Design, the one that you guys have already pre-ordered. I should have did Suicide in the Soul because that explains everything in regards to life, death, and everything in between. Well, not life, death, everything in between. A lot about death and getting people, to understand death. My finger is broke. I'm on with you, and my baby, she won't let me hang up. No problem. So I would appreciate if you guys go to my page real quick and just like that. I mean, like that page, follow that page, because I'm going to be doing a lot of my live streams in regards to my book, especially since it's getting closer and closer to coming out. I want to give a lot of information on that book, on that book, and this is the original page for it. In order for me to market it and to promote it well, I need to have it on this page. My page, Life According to Lena, is again Life According to Lena. It's tying everything in. It's you guys get an insight into how I think. Hold on. So Angela, thank you, Tammy. Angelic Angela said, "It's funny how you mentioned this today marks 10 years of the passing of my sister. I always question her death." Angelic Angela, what did you question about it? I would love to start there. And I hope I can give you some type of clarity. And remember, guys, this is my perspective. I have been studying, and let me tell you why it's my perspective, so you can kind of just have an open mind for how I think and my thought process and my critical thinking skills when it comes to things of a spiritual nature, right? I have been studying metaphysics, which is spirituality, which is spiritual psychology for the last 26, 27 years. This is not just stuff that I come up with in my head. This is not just stuff where I'm just pulling it out the side of my damn neck. Hey, Nicole, honey chow. This is not something that I'm just pulling out the side of my neck. I have been studying metaphysics, quantum physics, science, philosophy, and all kinds of theories around life, death, and everything in between for the last 26 to 27 years, guys. This is not a recent thing for me. When I tell you I have been studying it, I have been studying these subjects, all right? In addition to meditating, in addition to reading the Bible from the rooter to the tutor, in addition to studying over 86 religions. And the reason why I studied 80, I'm going to get to you, Angelic Angela. The reason why I studied 86 and counting religions is because I wanted to have a broader understanding about humanity and how we think and what we're actually searching for. Because when I first published my first book in 2011, I didn't want, first of all, I was shit scared, I'm going to say it, about that book going published because it was so new to me. And even though I studied everything around it and all the religions and all that other stuff, I wanted to make sure that I had a understanding about how other people think in order to be able to debate or even, thank you so much for being a 3-month member of Depster, Bags in the Attic, on how people think. You can't go around writing books like this. You can't go around talking like this. You can't go around, just really putting things like this into publication without having a clear understanding of what you're talking about and the ability to debate with people on their different perspectives. And the reason why I studied so many religions is because I wanted to open myself up to everyone's way of thinking, not to debate and be conflicted. No, but so I can understand where they're coming from, so I can tie it all into we are all heading for the same thing. We are all the same in that regard. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker, Debster. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So that's why I studied all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in unity, not division. I don't come from a perspective of being divisive. I think all of us have our different ideas about death and life and everything in between. It doesn't make us wrong or right. It shows our own personal viewpoint and perspective in regards to those matters. But what really matters is how did you arrive to your belief system? And a lot of people believe things without no foundation, without no understanding. They just believe it. A lot of people believe the Bible without even knowing the Bible. They just believe it because they've been conditioned to just believe it. I, on the other hand, have done extensive research. You know all that middle writing in the Bible with all them reference numbers? When I read a passage, I go to that middle reference number and I see everywhere else where those things are in the Bible at, and I go and look at all of that. That's what you call research. That's research. When you look at all of those things, the middle column where it has all the references, or the bottom half where it has all the references, you know, that's not what you call surface reading. That's what you call thorough reading for a deeper understanding of what someone is speaking about. So when I talk about metaphysics, I'm talking about spiritual psychology. And so Angela said, wait, hold on, Cindy, but hey, Cindy, question my sister. I question why my sister is slowly dying. Oh my God, I really wish I would have bought out. I really, and I shouldn't be regretting, and I don't regret. I'm going to try and get my other book out at the same time when the contract launches. I just wanted to do it in order because the Suicide in the Soul, that answers all of that. I mean, it just puts everything into perspective. That book that I have coming out. So Angela said, did she go before her time, or was it already said for her? Okay. That's a good question. And I'm glad you started out with that, Angela. And I hope you're still here. Good Sunday afternoon, Lena, and everyone. Hey, Elvira, Margaret, Brenda. Angela, are you still here, Angela? Because I want to make sure that you hear this that I'm about to give you. Let me know that you're still here. Okay, you're still here. Good. Okay, good. So Angela says, and after I answer her question, then I'm going to get to the foundation of what I'm speaking about. Angela says she wants to know if her sister went before her time, or was it already said for her? Now, I don't know. I see you, Angela. Angela, I don't know if you saw my recent reel where I said no one dies before their time. Happy Sunday, Linda. No one dies before their time. Okay. A lot of people felt, well, not a lot of people, some people felt that to be kind of insensitive. And if you guys look at that reel that I did on no one dies before their time, before they're ready to, you will see how I responded to the people who were asking about, well, one person said, my brother got shot. And are you saying that he was willing to die and he wanted to die and blah, blah, blah? And is that what you teach your clients and all of that? They got really upset about it. And I answered in a nice, professional, sensitive way. And so here's the thing. From a metaphysical perspective, right? We have to consider all parts of ourselves when it comes to our humanism. All right. We are not just flesh. The problem with a lot of people is that we're led to believe that God is outside of us rather than inside of us. Right. That's the first thing. We think we're just bodies and that God is somewhere out there in the sky. And the only reason why we are able to stay alive is because we have a spirit within us, holding our bodies alive. We don't wake up every morning and flip a switch for our brain to think. We don't wake up every morning and punch a button to start our heart or our lungs, do we? It's autoimmune. We have an autoimmune system, which means it's on autopilot. And who do you think is running that autopilot? Do you think it's just the body? Because if it was just the body, then we would have no control over anything. I have control over my fingers. I have control over how many times I blink. I have control over how my hair grows. So if I have control over all those things, why don't I have control over how my brain works? Why don't I have control over the function of my heart and my body? Though we can destroy it with pig's feet all of our lives, but we're not talking about that. I'm talking about how do we have control over those things? We don't. There's a spirit, guys, that's within us, and it's called a soul. I'll get to you, Brenda. It's called a soul. So, how many of you guys believe that you have a soul? Just put a hand up in the chat or something. Do you have a soul? Do you believe that you have a soul? Because there's something deeper going on. There's something deeper going on. Since God is in us, and yes, we do have a soul, and I'm sure most of you guys believe that, then you have to consider the function of your soul. What is the function of your soul? A lot of people don't know that. Good. A lot of good, Angelic Angela and Alicia Starr. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people have never even thought about it because no one thinks about the spiritual part of yourself, which is your mind, your imagination, your thoughts, your words. Why do they all have power? Because they're spiritual components belonging to the spirit. So in us, we have a spirit, and our spirit is what chose to be here. We are only empowered by our spirit, guys. That's it. It's all about our spirit, right? So when you ask the question, Angelic Angela, did she go before her time? Let's tackle that first. And I wish you would come. You know what? I really would. If you want to come up on this panel and have the discussion, I would prefer that. But I'll answer you in the background if you want. But let me know if you want to come up here, because that way I can speak directly to you. If not, it's okay. I'll answer this way. And before I go on, let me just read this message. Now, this is me. I believe this is hell. That's me. Everything happening in this world is hell. It's hell. I believe God watches all of us and our actions, and when we pass, we go to heaven if we've been doing good work. Okay. So this is all religion right here, and that's fine. Now, if you're not going to do his work, you stay right here in hell. This is my belief. Okay, that's your belief, but we could tap into that. I'm going to get back to that one because I want to dive into that one as well. Yes, I think they do. It's Saturn. So, one with spirit, absolutely. So, where's Angela's question again? I want to get back to it. Okay, so let's tackle the first part. Do we go before our time? Well, what is a person's time? Is there a right time to die? And how do we determine a person's timing? Let's go there. How do we determine a person's timing of death? How do we determine? And when you say, or is it already said for her, that's assuming that she had no input in it at all. Meaning her soul and her body didn't have a choice in it, neither did the spirit, which is connected to the spirit of God. Remember, God is universal consciousness, energy. We are individualized consciousness, which makes us souls, and souls have personalities. So a soul is connected to our personality. I question, why do newborns die? Blessings, hot topic. As soon as a can you drop the link? Oh, sure. As soon as a person is ready to die, as soon as a person is born, they are ready to die. I put the StreamYard in it. Is in the thing in the chat. Back to Angelic Angela's question. As soon as a person is born, they are ready to die. Life and death comes into this world together. Just like love and hate, just like up and down, just like in and out. You can't have one without the other. You can't be born without a destined to die. You can't. Hold on 1 minute, blessings. Hold on 1 minute. I'll let you in a second. Matter of fact, I'll let you on, but let me finish my thought. Let me just finish my thought with Angelic Angela. How you doing, blessings? Hot topic.
Oh, I'm doing fine. Sunday, everyone.
What was that?
I said, I'm doing fine.
Okay, hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. Let me just get my thought out with Angela. Um, and so what is the right time to die? And how do we know what the right time is? What we typically do when it comes to someone dying accidentally or someone dying slow or someone dying tragically is we put our idea of what we think life should be. And for many of us, we believe life should be full, but everyone has a different idea of what a full life is. For you, a full life may be 100 years old. But if you're 100 years old and you are poor and you have never achieved your dreams and you have lived a hard life, that's not a full life. For me, a full life could be someone living their dreams and having accomplished the things that they love to accomplish and not necessarily having a house and a car and a picket fence and a dog and some children. It can be them traveling the world, fulfilling their deepest desires. And then they end up passing at 30 or 40. That's a full life for me, right? Not that I'm going to die at 30 or 40. Just let that be clear, God. I'm just saying. Good afternoon, guys. Purpose, it can fulfill its purpose at 2. Okay, here we go. Alicia Starr said, I believe a soul comes here to fulfill its purpose. It can fulfill its purpose at 2. Oh my God, that's so profound. That goes back to me saying as soon as a child is born, they are old enough to die. We put in the idea of how someone's life should be, which is a problem. Because then when they end up dying too soon, according to how we feel that is way too soon, then we're stricken with extreme grief as if regular grief is not enough. We have extreme grief for our entire life from a sting of injustice that we have imposed upon somebody's life. So when it comes to that, hold on a minute. And blessings, I'm gonna get to you in 1 second. Just bear with me real quick, honey. Where is it? So when you ask, did somebody go with where Angela asks, did she go before her time? You have to be able to ask what was her time. And if you don't know, then perhaps she did not go before her time. Perhaps she was left at her time. And whether or not it was already set for her, you'd be surprised. We have a lot more to do with how we come into this world and how we exit than you can imagine. And we'll get more into that. Let me just unmute Blessings Hot Topic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I've been for a
Pretty
while.
good. What's up? How can you add? What do you want to add to this conversation, girl? Oops.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I just think that this is a very, very good topic because into after death and why do babies die so or perish so early? What is I just don't understand it. It's not that I don't have the faith in God because I do have strong faith in God. But my thing is that my best friend died. I mean, perished. I don't like to use that word. She perished and went on to glory in 2020 from the pneumonia. She had pneumonia. Um, and am I saying it right? Anomia?
Are you talking about pneumonia?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pneumonia. Thinking of something else. Yeah, she had this because I was thinking about the C, trying to put it together. But she died. I mean, she perished from that. Um, and she loved her family. She was a great mother. She was a a best friend, a good daughter, and a good sibling. And she went to church a lot and she caught it from church. She caught pneumonia from church. And she wasn't ready to leave her family. She wasn't ready for that. You know what I'm saying? Like who and I find it and I'm starting to look at things different since I hit 50 and I'm like you I'm seeing a lot of different stuff. You know, like another friend of mine who passed away, she was on FB and she was complaining that she didn't feel well. She was going to go home and lay down or whatever. So she left work early. She told all of us to have a great day. She left work early, got in her car, and was found in her car in the parking structure. This right where she parked, unalive. So it's like God, like why? Because we're not ready to leave our kids. We're
Mm.
not ready. We didn't ask CANCER. We didn't ask for that. And nowadays they're calling it environmental. My coworker, her son passed away at a very young age, at 30 something, from CANCER. And it's like, and he was young. And he had a family, he had children, he had a wife. They've been together since high school. He wasn't ready to leave his family. So when people say, "Oh, well, he was tired or she was tired or it was her time," I can understand it was our time, but it's kind of scary. You know, I don't want that to happen. They're not prepared for that type of, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you chime in. Well, I'll shut. Just be quiet. I have another friend whose mother saw both of her sons pass away. The second son that passed away, they had went to the casino in Mississippi or somewhere, and they came home and she slept in the bedroom of their family's house and he slept on the couch. When she woke up the next morning, he was gone. And now her mother is gone because she couldn't deal with the loss of both of her sons that she's seen, be perished. And she ended up getting Alzheimer's. Ended up being ill. And it happens. It's a trigger. So I'm like, I love my Lord, and I know He got my back, and He got my children's back. But just like we all have questions, like, why do you take us at times that we are not ready to go? I'll mute myself. I'm done.
Thank you so much for that. Blessings on topic. Those are really good questions and real concerns. And I think most people on earth, if they live to be any age, they have those same questions I did, which is why I sought out to study so much in my life for the last 26 years with metaphysics and quantum physics and spiritual psychology, science, theories, all those things, and religion, to get a broader understanding of this particular topic in and of itself. So there's a few things you say, and because I'm a coach, I write everything down. Key points. The first thing you said was the person that you were speaking about was a mother, a friend, and all these things, right? And that she died of pneumonia, right? And that she wasn't ready. Here's the thing, and this is the same thing I asked Angelic Angela. What When is there a good time to die? What is a good time to die? When you say somebody's not ready, what does that mean? Because have anyone besides being in the deathbed, being really sick, they're the ones who have the opportunity to say, and you can unmute yourself when you want. They're the ones who have the opportunity to say, okay, I'm ready to go, right? But have we ever in the history of Earth ran into anyone who was alive and well and said, I'm ready to go? it doesn't happen, right? Because you're not ready to go, because you're still alive and you're still functioning, right? So when it comes to not being ready, and I say that no one dies before they're ready to, right? I'm
Right.
speaking from a metaphysical perspective, which is a spiritual perspective, because again, we have to consider the soul in everything, and the soul is spirit, right? And since the soul preceded the body, the soul created the body, the body cannot function without the soul. So then we have to conclude that when a person passes away, the soul has a hand in that, because it's up to the soul to say, I'm not going to go on in physical reality, or I'm going to go on to non-physical reality. Jesus said the same thing. He says, I'm the one who laid, he said, no one takes my life but me. I lay it down and I pick it up. He said that for a reason, because he was speaking from the perspective of his higher self. In
Hmm.
other words, life does not control the spirit controls life, right? So when you talk about whether or not it's a person's time, whether they're young or whatever's going on with them and they weren't ready to leave, no, of course not. First of all, when we come into this world, we are distracted. We we dim our light, because we are pure light. In our spirit, we are pure light, pure love, and our soul is huge. We have to dim our light to come into this dense reality of physical reality, to come into this body. Our soul is too big for this body. We had to dim our light to come down here to experience physical reality. The only way to do that is through a human body, because emotions are a language of the body. And we're here experiencing emotions, and our emotions transmute into energy. And that's how we're able to transform that energy from hate to love, from resentment to forgiveness. We're here to do all that. We're transformers, right? So when you speak about if someone is ready, or they didn't die before their time, or they died before their time, that's with the assumption of our idea of what a good timing is. And no one can, and if you can give me a perfect time to die, I would love to hear it.
99. I guess
99 is a perfect time to die.
you could,
And how common is that in our society? Because we still have to go by what history has shown us.
right, right.
Now, from my perspective, from a metaphysical perspective, if we're going to keep it simple as simple to death, to where someone is 99 years old, let's say someone lives to be 99 years old and then they end up passing, right? Is that an accident? You would say no, it's not an accident, because it's more acceptable to you. Why? Because you personalize that person's life so much so that you don't want to be without. And if in fact their life is cut short according to your standards of what life should be, then
Hmm.
that's going to leave you feeling some kind of way. So then at the end of the day, it becomes your emotions and your triggers that you have a hard time managing,
Hmm.
you know? And it comes to us loving people in the physical flesh, not really connecting with them as we should always in the spiritual, even though we do that anyway, automatically. We're
Right.
connected with the people that we come into this earth with. We're intrinsically and spiritually and physically connected to the people that we come in earth with, right? So if you talk about 99 years old, it doesn't matter. Either way, death is a soul's way out of the body. The soul have to escape the body somewhere to go back into non-physical reality, because the soul is eternal. Am I right?
Yeah, you are right.
Okay, so when it comes to accidents, tragic accidents that may result in a permanent death of a person and a soul, not the soul, a person, or when it comes to a diseased body, and I'm gonna get to the chat in a little bit. Oh my God. um, so when you and I was distracted reading the daggone comments. So when you're talking about a diseased body or even a natural death, right? either way, we have to speak about the purpose of tragedy. And I always say there's purpose in pain, right?
Mhm.
We don't want our families being destroyed by a drunk driver. We don't want to. But however, there is lessons in that. And the only way this world can evolve into a better way of being for the greater good is for tragedies to happen. Change don't take place unless a crisis happens. The reason why we have stop signs and red light and red lights is because somebody drunk.
Because we have order. And if you
We
stay with,
needed order, but that order derived from a crisis. It derived from a drunk driver. It derived from people not following guidelines.
I agree. I
When
agree.
we have stop signs, you know, all those stop signs that's in between the block. When you have a stop sign, that means someone within that range had passed away because there was no stop sign and something happened with the car. So a tragedy happened. So
Mhm.
go ahead.
A lot of people are now doing that. They're running red. They're not cautious of what they're doing. Um, and it's kind of sad because I was watching a track. That man said, I don't have a license. And they said it all the time. Twice
Mm-hmm.
in my life. But I
Mm-hmm.
go to jail. And I said, you know what? I said, I was listening. I said, but this young man doesn't understand that if you run a red light and you hit someone and they may perish, guess what's gonna happen, honey? Be locked up for the rest of your life. You're
Mm-hmm.
responsible for that accident.
Yeah.
And free. It's like I just wonder because is a lot of spirit and till today. And I will tell the story over and people. But my
You're kind of coming in and out. I'm trying to catch you. I mean, I can hear you for the most part, but you're wavering in and out. But go ahead.
yeah, it's my connection, and I do apologize for that.
That's okay.
Um, is this better?
That is better.
Okay. So, when my grandmother, I tell the story to everybody because I'm telling the truth. When I was a little girl, my grandmother passed away. She used to come to me and she used to come to my cousin. We had a story. And and she was in this white gown. They, they put to rest. And I was I knew what grandmother. And my cousin would say the same thing. And when we brought it to our parents, I remember my mother just going into the bathroom late at night, crying her heart out. And I said, what is, I was a little girl, but I was just like, the young girl, what's wrong? Are you okay? And he just, told me it was, everything I told her, she's like, mom, and my auntie, once my auntie got the information, she started crying. Like, that's just like, and that believe the spirit, some spirits don't always cross over. And some spirits do cross over once they have touched on their and they were that they're fine in the act versus
Yeah,
spirit.
you're breaking up really bad. But I'm putting it together. I'm hoping you guys in the chat can put together what she's saying.
I can't. Yeah, I have this problem. Is this better?
That's better.
Is this better?
Yes. I heard most of what you say and I was able to follow and put it together.
Yeah, I had this issue. I just got a new phone and I don't want with um my internet.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad again.
Is it better?
No, it's still kind of breaking up. Maybe if you go out and come back in.
Yeah. Is this better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to get back to what I was saying about tragedies and crisis, right? We have to understand that everything happens for a reason and God uses everything. The good, bad and the ugly. Nothing goes to waste in this world. So when we say that there's so much injustice when it comes to death, we're basically saying that God got it wrong. He made a mistake. Or people rather resort to, well, God took him out because of whatever and whatever, the whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. Like I said, in every crisis, there is a reason for that crisis. And within every crisis, there are casualties of war. A lot of people come here, and here's the thing. It's a matter of getting to a deeper understanding about spiritual psychology. Okay, and I have that deeper understanding, and I'm trying not to go too far because I don't want people to lose their way with what I'm saying. And a lot of times I have to kind of bring myself down because I want to make sure that people understand what I'm speaking about. But this topic is so broad and so big, which is why I'm writing a book about it all, so I can put it all in one place and people can take their time to absorb the information. But we come here for a reason. Every single person comes here for a reason, to serve some type of purpose, or to learn something, or to give someone an experience, to teach them something, right? And so when it comes to that, we don't know why a person's purpose was here. I can honestly say that, when it comes to a person drinking and driving, let's say, and a tragedy may have happened, perhaps that person, maybe that was that person's purpose, to bring about change for the greater good, to bring about change for the entire greater good. Go ahead. What was you saying? I still can't hear you, but go ahead. Was you going to say something?
It's just okay. So Mina,
Hmm?
and for the chat as well, because I would like their perspective. Is it okay for when we get bad news?
Is it okay? What?
Is Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. Is it okay for humans
Mm-hmm.
to be angry at the time of their loss?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a human emotion. See, anger is not bad. Grief is not bad. The thing about it is we misuse all of that. See, anger is used as a gauge or a compass, or a human compass, if you will, to show us where we are in life, to show us where we are in our beliefs, to show us where we are in general. Because anger does not feel good to our body, right? Anger does not feel good to our body. So anger is really a tool to help us self-correct. Because when a person is angry about something, it's because they don't understand something. So when we begin to understand something, then that anger is reversed into knowledge, or transformed into knowledge rather than anger. It's the same way when someone gets angry about something because they're speculating about something, and da da da, my husband cheated, and you get pissed off because you're thinking that they cheated, and then you speak to the person, and all of a sudden they give you clarity, and they can account for their whereabouts and what, and so on and so forth. Now that anger is removed, but that anger still comes as a lesson for you to try to understand something, get to the bottom of something before you make a conclusion and turn it into anger. Anger
So
is just misunderstanding something.
I took it off my Wi-Fi and I put it on my cell phone Wi-Fi
Mhm.
internet. Can you hear me better now?
Somewhat, but go ahead and talk. I'll see if I can hear you.
Okay, I do apologize.
That's all
Um,
right.
so it is um at what's going on with our loved ones, um, which is understandable. But I think the misunderstanding comes from fear, or wondering if our loved ones went to heaven, where they're at. I mean, I grieved for a year for my best friend. I was just like, I want to make sure, hey, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to make it okay. Are you able to hear me?
I can put it together. It's not too much better, but what you said is you wanted to make sure that your best friend was okay.
Yeah, I wanted. make sure that she was okay after she actually perished.
But
Because
listen to this, even if she was okay, and even if you got the confirmation that she was okay, you still think that her death was an accident or that it shouldn't have happened.
I
So that
really
still
do.
doesn't so that still doesn't negate that part.
Yes, I struggle with that to today because I see her children growing. I see her children are and I know their mother was their life. And after she passed, her whole family like broken up, had broke up. And it's just like, I don't know. I just
It's
I
it's
I with
mhm.
her, and when she passed away, I was on my couch and I was crying because I was really, it took me a while to get over. That was my best friend. And my son's old coach, he was trying to get my son back to playing football. So one Christmas, 'cause she died December 7th, and Christmas was on the 25th of December. He brought scratchers, and that's all she did. Like, I used to buy her scratchers every morning, almost every morning. And he bought me like $30 worth of scratchers. And my dog was barking at him as he was putting it in my mailbox, and he didn't even know as he didn't know what situation I was in, and he just put it. Text me. He said, "Moms, coaches always call the parents, the mother's moms. He said, Moms, I left you a gift in your mailbox, and it was nothing but scratch." And when he left, I heard like my screen door was open. He told my dog that it's okay. And when she was passing in her daughter's, that's what she was telling her daughter. It's okay. It's okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm still kind of free because I just don't think she should have. I don't
You
know.
don't think what?
I don't feel as though it was her time past.
Mhm. Okay, and so that see that and that's why this is a much needed conversation. Okay, and again, it goes deeper than this. And in my book, The Contract Life and Death by Design explains so much, and so does Suicide in the Soul, which is my second book that I'm going to have coming out, actually my third book. But it's so much to uncover here. And again, the reason why we have a hard time with death is because we have not um you know uh when you don't know about spirit, when you're not in tune with the purpose of your soul, the purpose of your spirit, when you're not really focused or even have any knowledge about spiritual or non-physical reality, and how that plays a part in relation to our flesh, in relation to us being here, is going to always be a hard concept to swallow, right? And I think one of the biggest lessons that I have learned, that I see playing out in all of our lives, is a lesson of detachment. From the time that we leave our parents' womb, we have to be on our own. We are detached. Lessons of detachment, showing that you cannot be attached to anything or any person in this world. And when we go to school, we attach from our parents, and now we're with other people. Then as we grow up, we have to experience more detachment, because now we're losing our friends, because we no longer can be friends with them, because they're states apart. You done moved to a whole nother side of the daggone earth, right? Our children, we have to detach from them, because now they go up to school and they go on their own. So life has been nothing less than a lesson of detachment. When we are attached to people and things, right? As you said, a person, your friend had children, and they were, and she wanted to live for them, and they wasn't ready, and all these other things. We all come in this world as individuals, and we have soul contracts with the people that we come into this world with, like our personal family and our siblings and all these other things. But these people are not meant to stay in our lives forever. They're just They're just not. And when a person comes into this world, they have purposes that they are serving. So whether or not they are here as a good, wonderful friend to you, and they supported you during a time that you absolutely needed, and they also fulfilled some things on their own, that could have been the end of their life's contract. That could have been a whole purpose for them being here. Because how else are they are they going to leave the human system except through death? And we can't determine that 99 is a perfect time for a person to die. We can't determine
Better
that.
now? Are you able to hear me better now?
I can hear you a little bit better.
The expectation. I think
Huh?
the expectation. I say I think that's the expectation is for us to. I think the expectation is that we always expect each other to live forever, and we're not.
Right. Right. And the thing about it is this topic goes so much deeper than that. I mean, in my book, The Contract Life and Death by Design, I will show you how we had plans before we even got here as souls, before we entered the human system. We have a lot to do with everything that we are going on, and whatever plans and whatever purposes we have when we come to this earth will determine our place of birth, our region. You know, a person that's born in a region where there's tribal, the chances of them dying in a car accident is almost zero. But why are we born in the a region of the world where disease can take over, or where the chances or the likelihood of dying in an automobile accident is highly? Why is that? Why is that? For me, they're exit portals. For me, those are ways out of the body, no matter how tragic it is. And the thing about death is this: unless it makes sense to us, we cannot grasp it. We cannot grasp it unless it makes sense to us. And a lot of deaths when it comes to people in our family. So let me give you an example. If we have someone in our family that's doing hard drugs and they end up dying, that's acceptable. That's not an accident. It makes sense. Like, wow, they was doing a lot of hard drugs. They was on heroin. It was bound to happen. We can accept that, right? But a person that's eating themselves up into obesity, into all this physical sickness, that's a slow death. That's a slow suicide. That's a person that's killing themselves. And that's a suicide, except it's a slow suicide. You got those who take themselves out in the on demand, and you got others who live 20 years taking themselves out. It's still the same type of death. It's still the same suicide. It's just the way you have to look at it. So when you talk about the C word and all these other things, for me, I get it. We live in an environment, we were born in an environment full of toxicity. So the likelihood of us dying either in a crash or some type of terrible trauma, a crisis, or some type of bodily, virus or invasion of our immune system, if the soul created the body, the soul can rebuild the body. So if a body dies, it's not the body die and then the soul goes up to heaven or the soul goes. No, the soul makes a decision to dump the body because the body never preceded the soul. The soul preceded the body. So when we talk about whether or not someone is ready, no, consciously we're not ready. I know I'm not ready today. And if I, perish in the next 20 minutes, it wasn't my plan. But then I don't know what my soul's plan was. It could have been my plan. It could have been a life's contract that I signed before I got here. Maybe I served my purpose. But have we ever in a history of humanity had someone say that was very healthy and happy, okay, guys, my time is up, I'm ready to die? Never. It's never happened. So we have to open up our minds to the idea that maybe all things are not accidents. Maybe, things are meant to happen. When we say God only knows the time and an hour, then if that's what you believe, and that's the extent of your knowledge, then that's enough for you to kind of say, well, we don't know the time and the hour, right? If we're going to put it on
Yeah.
God. So if this person died of cancer or this person died in a car wreck, then how do we change our viewpoint and say, well, no, that's not God. That's just not supposed to happen. I thought God was in control. And if God is in control and you're giving God full credit, then either you don't believe God is God, you don't believe God is perfect, you don't believe he made all things in this earth perfect, and you don't believe that he said all things work together for good in this world, even if you don't understand it. I think in order to remove the injustice, the sting of injustice in regards to death, is to open up our minds and to understand that possibly, perhaps, there are no accidents.
And I
There are
think that's the thing. I think that's it's opening our minds to the unknown. It's the
Mhm.
unknown. It's the would I ever see her again? Like when we are laid to rest, where's our spirit? You know what I'm saying? I look.
You have a soul contract though, and that's why I said it goes deeper than that. And I encourage everyone to start studying metaphysics. Metaphysics is simply spiritual psychology. Look up soul teachings on your computer.
Metaphysics. Metaphysics.
Metaphysics
Okay.
is a form of learning spiritual psychology. It
Can
teaches you
your
everything.
moderators or yourself put that in your chat so when we
Excuse
go
me.
back we can you or your
I don't know
moderators
if my moderators are here, but let me put it in there.
put it in
Meta
the
and then
chat so
physics.
we can reflect back on this live and see?
Metaphysics is right there. I just put it in the chat.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, metaphysics, and metaphysics is nothing more than spiritual psychology. It's learning about the larger parts of yourself, because we are just too conditioned to just focus on our flesh. And when things
Mhm.
happen, we either deem we're sinning and so we deserved it, or God just took it away, God give it, to God take it away, and all this other, which I call nonsense. I don't want to be insensitive to people who are into that, into that thought process. But for me, it's
Mhm.
nonsense, because we can't be any better parents than our creator. If
Yeah.
I have 3 children and not near one of them, I would want to go to hell, right? But to say that
Can I
God will
ask you
take
a
one of
question?
us and then one of them and then put one of his children in hell and then the other one in heaven is just ludicrous to me, and it doesn't make any sense on a spirit from a metaphysical perspective. But go ahead.
Um, I don't want to go off the grid of what you're talking about because we're
Mhm.
talking about after death. Am I correct?
After death, I mean, we could go after death. I mean, right now we're talking about death in and of itself. But go
Death
ahead.
within itself. Okay.
What is your
So
question?
my question to you is that within this in the spiritual world, um, how does one get to cross over? Like, how do they? Like, I truly believe that my best friend crossed over into heaven because she was so godly. I mean, she was just, to me, she was. And to a lot of people, she was a very decent, loyal human being. How does one go to the other side and they're not stuck on this side of earth in the spirit?
They're called ethereal cords. When we every attachment that we have, and again in my book, I will explain to you how I know all this information. For every attachment that we have, there's something called ethereal cords. All right. If you can think of a cord coming out of your body like a wire or electricity and connecting to your children, like you're bound with your children. It's a cord that binds you with your children. And the stronger the connection, the thicker the cord. The skinnier the connection, the connection, the skinnier, I mean, the further the connection, the skinnier the cord. So in other words, a skinny cord, a skinny ethereal cord would be your job, people at your job, people that you met at your gym. Your strongest will be your children and your parents, right? Those are the strongest cords. So
So
when
you're talking about bloodline versus.
No, I'm talking about
Um,
connections because it can be an adoptive parent. It's not has nothing to do with blood. It has to do
oh,
with
okay,
your level
okay,
of connection. You can get an
okay,
old man who died by himself alone, and he was a hoarder of everything mechanical, a garage. And because he was
right,
so worried about everything about what was going to happen to all of his stuff when he passed away, okay, he was attached to those things. So a person that is still attached to anything earthly will have a hard time completely crossing over. Okay, they will have one foot in and one foot out. They will still be here, and we know this because you have heard stories of when people's parents or their relatives die, and the child and the siblings of that or the child of that parent, couldn't breathe because they died. And then the minute that child was able to come to terms with it, and she says, "Mom, it's okay, you can go," then the presence of that parent was no longer felt because that child let that parent go. That cord, she cut the cord. We have to cut the cords. And so when you talk about an old man who's hoarded some things and is attached to it, right? And he can't let it go. And let's say he doesn't even have a family member, or say he does have kids, right? It would take a child to actually, and I teach this in my coaching when it comes to grief coaching, and people are dealing with people who are dying, dying relatives. The best thing you can do for anyone that is passing and that's passing over to the other side is giving them the green light to go. When you let them know that you are okay, mom and dad, I am okay. I will take care of the family. I will be all right. Thank you so much for your gifts. Thank you so much for your love. I want you to go and I want you to be at peace. That cuts the cord from you to them, or they would be have to cut the cord between you and them, and that would take them saying my daughter's going to be okay, and now I'm going all the way over. But for the people who have physical attachments in the process of them dying, and you guys, this is all metaphysical, so I know it's a little bit complicated. When people have physical attachments, okay, there is said to be spiritual guides and spiritual teachers that help them completely cross over.
mm.
You get help.
But do they have to be appointed? Do they have to be asked
We're
for?
we're or no,
Because I do.
we're
Mhm,
already appointed all of that before we even come into a physical body. When we make a contract, when we make an agreement, when we are just souls, when we are in the spirit, we are already assisted in everything. We have our spirit guides, we have our teachers, we have our ancestors, we have people that have already crossed over in our family that's constantly helping us even in this moment.
mhm.
So it's not an ask, it's always you have someone with you right now helping you understand, leading you to more clarity in regards to the things that confuse you.
So once we perish, our bodies go where?
Your bodies go with the earth where it's
I
buried
mean,
at.
your
Your
spirit
spirit,
goes where?
your spirit goes to your oversoul. Now, I don't know how much of this you're
Can you
involved.
explain that?
Yes,
Explain
like
that.
I was about to say, I don't know how much of this you are involved in, but I don't even know if you believe in reincarnation, and because this goes deep into that, and that's what metaphysics is, it's
Oh,
spiritual
I do.
psychology.
I do. I
Okay,
do.
so
Yeah.
you know how people say that we have many lives? No, we have one life. Reincarnation is a continuation of that life. Is a
Mhm.
continuation of that life. That's what reincarnation is.
So let me explain why I believe in that. Because there are things with my parents and my grandparents, I can understand who they are and why they are, and it helps me understand who I am and why I act certain ways. And I'm like, when my youngest son was born, I had a picture of my grandfather when he died, when he passed away, I should say, and prior to him passing away, he took a picture, and he was smiling. And then I have my youngest son. I only have two sons, but I have my youngest son, and I put their pictures together, and I said they got the same foreheads.
They have the same eyes. They have the same smile. They have the same independence. And I'm looking at my son as though he's my grandfather. And my family agrees with me because
Hmm.
they call my youngest son my grandfather's name. They call him
Hmm.
Clifton Jr. And
Hmm.
it's like that is that is that's grandpa. Like
That is.
everything about my child, I just feel like, oh my God, that's grandpa. Like they smile alike, they think alike, they act alike. They're ambitious, they're
It's your
strong men.
it's your grandfather reincarnated, and that makes perfect sense. And for those of you who don't understand things about
Mhm.
things of that nature, I encourage you to look up children. There are children, hundreds of children that were 2 and 3 years old from the time that they were able to speak talk. They spoke about their other family that they had, their alternative family, and everything. I mean, and I'm talking about even going as far as finding the place where in 18 wherever where this child said that they lived.
Yeah.
I mean, everything confirmed. It's so amazing. But back to your question, when it comes to where do we go back to our oversoul. Now when I spoke about reincarnation, we have one life, and reincarnation is our way of continuing that life. So all the information and all the purposes and all the goals that we have attained in our past life, that's what our oversoul is made up of. That's why I said in the beginning,
Overall.
we dim our light and we dim our energy in order to fit into this dense body, to be to um for the purposes of self-discovery again, and to gain more experiences, or to continue
Mm,
the life that we had before. Now when you speak about people in your family being reincarnated into a child, that makes complete sense, because before we got here we have contracts with people, with our parents. There are soul groups that you are a part of, that has been doing lifetime after lifetime after lifetime with you. Okay, it's the only difference between now and then is that in this lifetime you came back as somebody's child. Okay, but in a previous lifetime you may have been your mother's mother and she may have been the child. So we come back playing different roles in order to
mhm,
balance our karma, balance the lessons that we need to learn. Okay, because when you do something you have to experience what it's like to feel that thing. It's like, when you live you have to experience a death. When you hate, you have to have an experience of love. We have to experience all of it. We are the victim in in the villain in everything. We experience
mhm,
everything in this earth, right? And so we come back
mhm,
as different people. So when we are in our spirit form and it's time for us to incarnate again, it's sort of like if I'm your mother, I'm like, okay, blessings, hot topic. I'm gonna be your brother. You're gonna be the father, and so is going to play the mother right now, because it's about seeing life from a different perspective. It's
mhm,
about seeing life from a different perspective in order to get the full lesson in the thing that you came for. So that's a deep part that a lot of people may not be ready for, may not understand, which is what my book speaks about. Okay, so we go back to an oversoul. That means the larger parts of ourselves. And the larger parts of ourselves, which is a soul, is connected to our spirit, which is universal consciousness, which is God.
mhm,
God, in a sense, if in comparing to us and God, okay, is the same thing as you and your children. If you have 10 children, they're individualized consciousness, they're individualized souls. They have the individualized energy, but they come from you being the source. The same thing is true when it comes to God. God is universal consciousness, he's spirit, universal energy. We are individualized consciousness with personalities. That's why we're souls. And God is experiencing himself or herself through us by the things that we create in physical reality and the things that we experience in physical reality through our emotions, which emotions are energy.
mhm.
That may have been a whole lot. Sorry.
No, I'm comprehending. I'm bringing everything you saying, the pieces of what you're saying, basically into what my understanding is, and to
Hmm.
put the put the puzzles together. because life is a big old puzzle.
Yeah.
And you got to put the pieces together. And sometimes you may not complete the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? Or your one piece may be part of that one piece of the puzzle. I
Right.
hope
And it
that makes
is.
sense.
It does make sense. And and
Uh-huh.
it's our job to evolve and to
Uh-huh.
rediscover ourselves. See, our whole purpose in coming here is to rediscover who we are. Is to go back
Amen.
to love, to rediscover who we are. And in order to
Yeah.
be and in order to understand who we are and in order to learn more, we have to forget who we were. That's what the oversoul is. It has all of our experiences. It says, you know what, I'm gonna come down here, I'm gonna put a veil over my face. I don't want to remember anything. But guess what? All of us remember is that there's something bigger going on here, that there's a God somewhere. And because we have that, because we didn't forget that, with that thought alone drives us to want to seek more about who we are, seek more about where we come from. And in doing that, we gain more lessons. We have to
Uh-huh.
manage our energy along the way, which our
Uh-huh.
energy is all flawed and messed up. It's like we're bumping our heads like little kids. Oops, oops, oops. Until we learn how to protect and manage our energy. But ultimately, the goal is to get to a place, back to a place of love, of who you really are. Get back to a place of power. You created it all.
So, Lena, let me ask you this question. I'm about to walk in the store, but I'm not going to be
Mm-hmm.
long, and I just want you to answer this while I'm listening in the store.
Mm-hmm.
What and chat, please don't bark, don't get upset at me. I'm very spiritual and I understand. But my
Mm-hmm.
question is, what does prayer do? Does it just bring us hope
No,
and
well, it's not supposed to
excitement
bring you
and
hope.
energy? I mean, but what does prayer do? Because my best friend, when I say she was a church goer, I mean, she knew the Bible like the back of her hands.
But is that all
What?
she knew? But is that all she knew?
No, She
Because
was
knowing the
very.
Bible,
I'm gonna tell you something. Her husband married her because she was very smart. And
mhm.
he told me, he said I was dating two women at the same time, and I asked this one lady, the one that I was dating, she wanted me to join this pyramid, but she couldn't count. I asked yo, and she calculated everything in her head. He said that was the woman for me. She was very smart, very
Right.
wise.
And so here's what in the call, I'm gonna put this comment back up in a second. Here's what and the reason why I said you have to uh
And I'm not
examine your
doubting prayer. I'm
no
not
no no
doubting prayer.
right, you have to examine your belief system, because what I see you hear you saying a lot, and this is respectfully, this is no shade, no nothing. What I hear you
Right.
saying a lot is this person was a church going as if she earned her place in heaven. And that's not the thing that qualifies you for heaven, because we all go to heaven, there is no hell. But that's a whole nother separate conversation. When it now in regards to prayer is basically speaking to your oversoul, speaking
Your
to your
higher
ancestors,
power.
speaking to your higher power. When you ask for something, when you ask a question, the answer is intrinsically like it appears. If you're in tune with your spirit, you have the answer. So that's what prayer is. And prayer is not for me no hour of prayer. No, I pray help. Sometimes I don't pray at all, and it's just my tears, it's just my heart. My heart prays. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
There's
The
no
same here.
specific form of praying.
Right,
Praying is just asking. That's what praying is.
right,
And you know, the
right.
Bible says, "Ask, believe, and receive." It's
Yeah,
just a form of asking. That's all. And we're not denied anything. We're not denied anything. Whatever we ask for, we get if we believe that we can receive it. We ask for it.
right. From the Lord.
But
So
thank
let me
you
ask
so
you this
much. Go
question.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, are you trying to get off? If you trying to drop, then
No, I'm not trying to drop. I want to get to the comments, but I'm gonna give you one more question to answer. I appreciate your time here, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. Um, the thing is, Lena. So, and I know it's a different time for a different subject, and I hope that I'm included in that. But
Mhm.
my thing is, you say we're all gonna go to heaven. You don't think that we're already? You don't think that this Earth is he double hockey sticks?
How could it be? Look at all the good. Look at you. Aren't you good for the earth? Look at all the flowers. Look at all the water. Look at all the trees. Look at all the animals. Look at all the beauty. The only way that you can think that earth is hell is if you're seeing it from a very dark, distorted perspective. It's sort of like seeing a cup that's half full and a cup that's half empty. And think about it like this. All right, let me give it to you like this. Now, God is consciousness, right? And consciousness is energy, right? Do you agree with that? It's energy, right? Energy does what? It cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred or expanded, right? So if heaven is a place, because we have to consider energy, because that's what we are. We created this pen through energy. We formed the image in our first. We formed the thought in our minds. Our imagination, which is our image maker, formed a picture, a prototype that can match that thought. Then we spoke it out of our mouth and say, I'm going to call this a pen. And then we took, and then our energy led us to creating this pen. It's all about evolution, evolving, manifesting, creating, right? So the pen is the end of that thought, but it's not the end of the pen, because from this pen, it can be now somebody else can down. The person who made this pen can die. But does that mean that the pen dies? No, somebody else is born and now they're making it red. Now they putting mechanics in it. Now they're making 5 different colors in it. It's the same thing as a car. You putting your stamp on a car. It never ends. Now, energy, since energy does not end, heaven being a place, how can our energy stop at one place when God hasn't even stopped? God expanded himself or herself through all of us to have a physical experience in this earth. And every single one of us in this earth is operating in the power of God, having individualized experiences and perspectives and sharing it with God. So God is experiencing it all, which is why he's an all-knowing and all-seeing, right? So if God is not confined to a heaven, he done expanded him or herself through all the galaxies, throughout the whole entire existence of everything. How can heaven be a place where we stop? And how does energy stop when energy is created? We don't stop learning, we grow. Right. We don't stop expanding, we evolve. We get better and better. And we're not the only planet in this universe that's thriving with energy. So with the assumption of the heaven being a heaven and a hell, no, we create our own hell. You create your hell by seeing the glass is half empty, and I create my heaven by seeing the world as being beautiful. So heaven and hell is what you make it here on earth. If you choose to see it as in a hellish way, then you're going to have hellish experiences. You create your experiences on this earth, because the minute you switch your mind and you start focusing on waterfalls and mountains and things that are majestic, it's impossible for you to see it as flawed. You will see the beauty in it. So it's all a matter of perspective.
I'm listening. It's just music in here.
Okay. So I'm going to get to the chat, but I want to thank you so much. Blessings, Hot Topic. I'm going to have a lot of these discussions, and I welcome you to join me at any time, because clearly we need a lot of discussions in regards to this, right? I want you to follow my other page though, Life and Death by Design, because that's where I'm going to be doing a lot of this stuff, and the release of my book is going to be on that page. But thank you so much. I see Rochelle gave me 100 stars. Thank you so much. Now, I'm sorry, chat. Let me get to your chat. Let me get to you. Let me get to you. Okay. I heard Brenda when she said, oh, that was a whole hour ago. I got to get down. Lord, I done messed up and got all the way off. A young Dr. Lisa Benton. Hey, Lisa, she says a young man died and saved my life with a heart donation. I'm celebrating my 14-year heart transplant. Yes, it was not my time. I'm still serving my purpose. All right, then. Brenda said, I agree, Lena. We be all put here, and God watches all and works. I'm hot. Hold on. Okay. 129. I'm going back in the chat, guys. I found my mom last August and lost my only sibling 2 years ago. I haven't even dealt with it. The pain is too hard, just like this conversation. I'm sorry. Brenda said, I believe just me. This is hell. Rapists, murder, etc. are still here on earth, but they're people that gone. Some would say, why them? My dad gone 20 years, amazing man. I had to sit back and think. It was he takes the good. Oh, God takes the good. Now this is my belief. I understand. I have a son that's hard on drugs. Talking to him and getting help still didn't help. So I have already in my mind, if he goes, it's his choice. Nicole said there are moments when we all experience what is called deja vu. That's when we have those occurrences of feelings like we've been here before, or when someone says to us, look at you look like, or you remind me of someone. That's because they recognize this, that spirit that once been here before. Absolutely. Yep. Lily said, knowing the Bible or not, we all must go. Right. Alicia Starr says, what kind of prayer are you doing? Affirmation prayer. Let us affirm what we desire if we are praying right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. We are never too old to learn. Right. Lily said, you ain't never modeling everything we do affect our lives. Right. Rochelle said, thank you, Lena. I almost jumped off the live. I've been crying for 20 minutes. Oh my God. I'm so sorry that you've been crying for 20 minutes. And so I want to get back and I see Hot Topics came back on. Hold on a minute, Hot Topics. Let me just get to my point in reference to dying. So when we talk about do people die before their time, we have to ask ourselves certain questions. All right? You have to ask yourself certain questions. What is the right time to die? What is the right time to die? You know, and just because someone died in a crisis or an accident or by diseased body, whatever way that person left, how do we know that the soul didn't create all those conditions leading up to the time of death in order to escape the body? The point is, we don't know. But one thing I am sure of is that a soul preceded the body. The soul created the body. So it's not up to the body to decide whether or not we live or die. It's up to the soul to decide whether or not we live or die. And if it's up to the soul, then it was a conscious choice. Whether or not we agree with it, it doesn't matter. Now, the way that someone died, if someone was unalived by someone else, and it was an unfortunate situation, there are laws that you know can deal with that, and the way that person has died will contribute to the greater good of the whole, because that person who died by unfortunate circumstances, or what we decide or what we determine as an accident, will be added to all the other hundreds of thousands that have died that same way. And something will come about that, some great change that's going to serve the greater good or the world moving forward, that's going to possibly reduce or prevent that type of thing from happening. So that's what I mean by God uses it all. And from my perspective, there are no accidents. There simply are no accidents. I'm gonna add blessings back to the stage. Hey.
No, I was just saying I accidentally hit the exit button, the leave button.
Oh, that's fine.
And I just wanted to tell you thank you for allowing me to come up and you sharing your thoughts, and I appreciate you. So I
I
just want to
appreciate
thank
you.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And I want to know, did you get any little bit of clarity? Or these are
Oh
because I
yes,
know
yes.
these are go ahead.
I'm always inquisitive about certain things about life, just period.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware of life because there are wonders. There's the unknown. We're always going to have the unknown. And I'm being
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Oh
We're
yeah.
always going to have the unknown. We're not going to know when we're birthed. We're not going to know when it's our time. So at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, in between times, we do have to go through the fieries and the blessings of life. Period,
Mm-hmm.
point blank. And
And
there's
you know what
nothing.
else? And you
Mhm,
know what else? The
mhm.
main lesson is that because we don't know, you
Mhm.
cannot conclude and judge a situation. So we bring
That is
ourselves
true.
more pain and more suffering when we put our opinion and judgments on something and say this person wasn't ready, this person had children, this person wanted to live a whole life and they was too young. All those things is causing you grief. And you
Mhm.
can't say, we don't know and it's an unknown, but then you're making it like it's a known, like it's impossible to have an unknown. So you have to pick a side. And if you're going to pick a side, the best side to pick is to be open and not judge anything when it comes to those spiritual matters, because there's a bigger program happening. Life is a program, not an era.
Mhm.
It's a program. It's an
Mhm.
institution. And
Mhm.
the soul is the orchestrator, or the spirit is the orchestrator of that internal spiritual institution that drives the body and that drives physical reality. You know how the Bible says, as above, so below? Whatever
Mhm.
happens in earth is the same thing that happens in heaven. I mean, in
Mhm.
heaven and earth, because
Yeah. Let your will
heaven
be
is
done here on earth as it is
right,
in
right.
heaven.
Heaven is a non-physical reality, and earth is a
Mhm.
reflection, is a physical reality. So we have
Mhm.
to consider both sides. And if we have to consider both sides, then we cannot conclude what's an accident, no matter how unfortunate it may seem. No matter how
Mhm.
unfortunate it may seem, you'll do yourself a great justice by just not judging it and saying, you know what, there's something deeper going on here. I may not know what that is. Because trust me, everyone, for the length of your lifetime, everyone who may perish, you may be lucky to get one of them that perish at 99. It's going to be some type of
Mhm.
accident. It's going to be some type of disease. It's
Mhm.
going to be something. And how are you ever going to make sense of life if you keep on deeming death and injustice just because it's not in the way
It,
that you wanted it to go?
that's very profound right there. What you just said.
Okay.
That
So
speaks volumes. I
yes.
appreciate you,
All right.
and I would like to. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch the replay because I'm gonna have some questions for you. I'm gonna jot them down. So when you come up with another girl, I'm a union labor worker. So we gotta jot down a whole lot when we have questions.
All
But
right.
I really would like to. I'll join you again. This is good content, and thank you for bringing the awareness to us and answering our questions and allowing us to have a voice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your
You're
input and
welcome.
your perspective, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you more. Thank you so much. And you enjoy the rest of
You're
the Sunday.
welcome. You in the
All right.
chat have a blessed day. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
And someone just sent me a cash app. Who was it? It was Vicky Parks. Thank you so much, Vicky, for your cash app. You didn't have to, and you did anyway. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sharon Ben says, good afternoon. Everyone just came in to say hello. I woke up for the second time today. It's a sleepy Sunday. Oh, good. Have a blessed, wonderful day. Thank you so much for stopping by. Nicole says, so no matter what, there's purpose, right, of it all. Absolutely. 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 I'm going to put the link to my website for my book. So whoever wants to pre-order my book, and you'll get a signed copy. And when I tell you what's in there will blow your mind, it will blow your mind. That's the link to my book. Lily said, I wonder about a lot of times. Like there's so much on this earth we've never seen, to the point I feel it's dangerous to walk along the dark road these days. Well, it is. There are all kinds of creatures that's lurking around, and cutting all these trees down will be showing things. Right. And you know what? That's true. But we have to expand ourselves. We have to travel. There are so many places on earth where, first of all, you don't want to walk nowhere in the dark. Okay. Especially as a woman, you don't want to walk anywhere in the dark. But there's so much to be explored in this world. There's so much to be explored in this world. We just have to figure out how to do it safely. You know what? Yes, I'm cooking. I don't know what yet. I need to go get some fish, is what I need to do. I definitely need to go get some fish. I know, right? I know, but not everywhere. I think only where we live at. In other places. Good afternoon, Miss Warren. But yeah, guys, so this was a very interesting topic, and I'm going to be doing it way more because it's too much to explain in one setting. It's just so much going. It's so much. It's just so much. It's so much to understand. It took me, well, it didn't take me 26 years, but I've been studying this stuff for 26 years. Like I said, this is not something that I just came up with. This is not just a theory that I came up with. When I tell you that I take what I know and I reflect it on my own life and see how that's even possible. When I tell you the moment I started accepting things, the moment I started believing and understanding that there are no accidents, the moment I started finding good in evil, I realized that my understanding about life and death was completely distorted. And when I started realizing the truth about life and opening myself up to the possibility that even in that terrible accident, something good came out of it. And if something good came out of it, that means that was the purpose of that damn accident. I don't grieve the way most people grieve. I don't go to the funerals and fall over. Now, when my brother passed away in 2019, my heart was broken in a million different pieces, knowing what I know. But it wasn't the type of grief that you guys or that most people grieve. It wasn't. It was because he was my soulmate and I loved him so much and I missed him. I didn't find error. Now, he didn't die from no natural causes. It was a total fluke. Somebody probably gave him something that made him perish. I have a lot of questions because it wasn't something that even aligned with his timing of death. It wasn't a car accident. It wasn't any of that. It was something happened. Somebody gave him something or something. And we don't have clarity about that. But my understanding about everything happening for a reason, and my understanding about his purpose, and I know his purpose because I felt his purpose in my life. I know what he was here for. He was a perfect example of unconditional love. That was his purpose. And he was an alcoholic, but that's okay. He gave me the most profound lesson on love that I have ever had from any human being on earth. And I realized at the moment of his death, that was his purpose for being here, to support me, to show me that the unconditional love, I mean, profound, as being a black sheep of the family, as being the one that nobody wants to be around because he was a destructive drunk. You know what I'm saying? So I have lifted the burden of grief out of my life. Now, do my heart still hurt for things? Yes, not for my brother. I was completely satisfied because I realized that that was his choice. From a metaphysical perspective, from a soul's perspective, I understand that a soul dumps its body. A soul has a body, and the soul dumps his body. And since the soul is eternal, it's a conscious choice whether a soul lives in a body or lets that body remain however it is and goes back on to the larger parts of their self of non-physical reality. You're welcome. Lena, we used to walk at night and the moon shines in the daylight, and now it does. Well, it does shine in the daylight. I guess because I live by the beach. Maybe that's why I see the moon in the daylight. I don't see it as often, but it's there. Oh, I know, Nicole. You need to come on my stream sometime so you can give your part of it. Each one teach one, damn it. My brother died from cancer 2 months ago. 2 months after we found out, he left 6 kids. I struggle because I believe he wasn't ready. I understand. I totally understand. I totally understand. It's a lot to gather. It's a lot to understand. It's a lot to understand. You know, um, I believe God when there's a few things I believe about the Bible, and I believe when it says God works everything together for good. I believe that there is no choice, that there are no accidents. The Bible says it all over. There are no accidents. You know, there just isn't any accidents. And it took me some time to come to that realization. And I guess it'll take a lot of people. You guys need your time too. But the minute you start digging deep into the purpose of something, the meaning of spiritual psychology, the purpose of the soul, the picture, I mean, it like Blessing said, it's so many pieces to a puzzle. We have a lifetime of work to do to come to a complete understanding, and not even a complete understanding, a halfway understanding of what life is really about. It's a program, it's not an error, it's not a mistake. Death is not a mistake. It's just not. When you were born, the only guarantee you got was that you will perish, right? Because when life enters the earth, so does death. It's a double-sided coin. It's a double-sided coin. There's no coin. There's no book on this planet that says that this is the way that we all should die. There is nothing to even reference how a soul is supposed to die or what's the great timing of it. Not even a Bible. The Bible speaks about old age and full life. Old age and full life. Or that you may have long life. May have long life. And it's not contingent upon anything that you do. Of course, in the Old Testament it is, but not in the New Testament. Yes, Michelle, of course. And I know this is right up your alley. For the people who know about these things, who have who have a sense of spiritual psychology, I would love for you guys to join the panel. Oh, thank you, Vicky. Vicky just ordered my book. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I would love for you guys to join my panel. It takes a village. And you never know. Between you, Michelle, and Nicole, you know, my voice don't reach everyone, but your voice and your perspective and the way that you deliver it may be just what someone else needs, you know, because we all speak different languages when it comes to certain things. What I'm speaking about is nothing new under the sun. Guys, there are thousands of people who have studied metaphysics and have books about the soul and death and all this other stuff. I can give you a few. Hold on a minute. Let me show y'all something. This is my book. Woo! The Journey Home. If We Live Again. Unknown Reality, Seth. All these Seth books. Hold on. I'm going to just bring all these books. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I almost messed up. The hell? Can y'all put something? Let me know that you see me because I just messed up everything. Can y'all still see me? Oh, so you can see me. Okay, good. Oh, really, Vicky? You see satin? For real though? Word? Let me show y'all how deep my studies go. You want to know about the soul? Lord, I don't even know where the hell to start. Seth, Jane Roberts. She was a channeler. She is the best. And I'm going to show you all her books. When I tell you, I read everything. I read all her books. This is Jane Roberts. Don't look at my nails. Okay? Now, here's her books. Unknown Reality. This will blow your mind. This will answer every freaking question that you have about non-physical reality. The nature of personal reality. This is another one that'll blow your mind. As you can see, specific practical teachings for solving everyday problems and enriching your life, the life you know. This tells you about your soul and everything. I have all of her books. The Seth material will blow your hat off when it comes to spiritual and physical reality, non-physical reality. Hold on. Seth, The Nature of the Psyche. It tells you about that spiritual psychology. The Magical Approach. This is about manifesting. This is still Jane Roberts. Tells you about dreams. Okay, Brenda. Seth Speaks. Seth Speaks. That's it right there. The eternal validity of the soul. Let me get my fingernail out of there for y'all having a blogger shade room. The eternal validity of the soul. This right here is astounding. Jane Roberts, The Oversoul. Jane Roberts. I got all of her books and I read them all. The Journey Home is not Jane Roberts, but it is Byron. This right here is the best book I think I've ever read in my entire life. I send these books to my clients after I'm done with them. This is the best book that I have ever read in my entire life. And of course, my book, Harvest of the Heart. This is just one of them. That's my maiden name. Don't worry about the picture. Okay? Just saying. Anyway, guys, woo. Nicole said, no, thank you. My purpose when I'm on just to add bits and pieces to my sauce, to what you already cooking with your words. Lord, wait a minute. You know that just went over my. No, thank you. My purpose when I'm on is just to add bits and pieces of my sauce to what you are already cooking with your. Okay, gotcha. Hey. Vicky, you ain't gonna set me up, okay? Enough of me is already on the Blogger Shade Room. Okay, well, I haven't been in a barber shave room in a long time. I'm just saying. You ain't about to set me up to be in them damn streets, all right? I've been doing good. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I've had YouTube. I got 3 panels up here. YouTube, my Facebook page, which by the way, I'm gonna put my Facebook page again in the comments, guys. Please follow this page. Please follow the page. Dreaming about snakes? No, I don't read dreams. I know the purpose of dreams, but I don't know it to that level where I can tell you why you're dreaming about snakes. It could be because of fang mouth, SSSBL. I don't know. Let's keep this positive. I know you're just having fun. So no, there's a lot of snakes on this internet. So I think the answer is probably clear as to why you're dreaming about damn snakes. Okay. Y'all made me mess up my whole bookshelf. And it's not just that. I have so many other books. Wallace D. Waddles. This book will change your damn life. Thomas Troward. The Edinburgh lectures and the doorway lectures out of Germany. Oh my God. These are the best lectures in the freaking world. Will change your whole life. Guys, I study a lot of authors, especially from centuries from 17th century, the 18th century, the 19th century. When I read a book of today, I go into the back and see and see what authors they have referenced, so I can go way back because I want to know the beginning of it. You know what? If you dream all the time, that means that you're sensitive. That means that you are close with your spirit. That means that all you know what? All you have to do is ask what your dreams are about, and you'll be shown them. Being able to remember your dreams all the time, that speaks volumes. That's very significant. You remember hearing about James Robert Seth was the spirit that she was said, ooh, child, and talking about it's awesome. Yes, the one that I suggest you start with. Hold on. Yeah, Seth Speaks. Start with this one. Seth Speaks. They have it on audio also. You can listen to it in your car on YouTube. That's what I do with all my books. I listen to them on YouTube first because I do audiobooks. I don't really listen to music. I love music, but I don't listen to it too much in my car. In my car, I'm always listening to my audiobooks. And when I get the audiobooks, then I buy the book. And then I start studying the book. As you can see, I got all these study notes here. I highlight everything and I study everything. So that way I can have a clear understanding of what I'm reading. Seth Speaks is the best book to start with. Seth Speaks. Vicky is on it today. Lily said, last week I had a dream, Lena. Woke up and went to the bathroom and went back to the same dream and it was finished. That's excellent. If you can remember your dreams, that's sort of almost like lucid dreaming. And people meditate to get to a place of lucid dreaming. Have you ever been in a have you ever dreamt and saw yourself in the dream, but from a realistic perspective? That's lucid dreaming. Sarita said, good morning, Lena. We Geminis love to read. I used to read a lot when I had my vision. Now I only do all your books. Happy Sunday. Okay. Mm-hmm. Listen, you have to thank God. When one thing goes, you have the other. We always have our ears. There's so many ways of getting information. Woo! So if there's nothing else, guys, I'm going to see if I can go get me some fish. I'm going to see what I can cook. Yeah, they didn't believe that she is able to do what she was doing. Yeah. Let me tell you something. That Seth material, amazing. Amazing. I got all of her books. And when I say, well, I believe I got all of her books. I may not. I do have all of her books. I have to think about that for a minute. Wait a minute. I do have all her books. Oh, yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. And those people that are closed-minded that way, they miss out on a gift. When you run across people, you just have to open up your heart to other perspectives. People are so rooted and grounded in one way of thinking, one religion. If you're going to study one religion, study a lot of them so that way you can compare and make sure that you're on the right track. And if you study many religions, you'll realize that everybody's aiming for the same goal. Honestly. Lena, you know that quote, they say that readers are leaders and we Geminis are all leaders. You got that right. You got that right, because I know I am. I'm a star seed. Star seed meaning I came here with a specific vision and light. A perspective that go against all odds. And my whole life I have been that way. I have been the one that went against the grain. And I was never afraid to go against the grain. I was never afraid to show my light. I was never afraid to let people hear my perspective. Now, when I got on the internet, I was a little bit afraid. When I started getting into my stuff, I was like, okay, people are going to think I'm freaking off the rocker because I didn't know how to really explain it. But now that I'm fully knowledgeable about the things that I know and I am deeply rooted in those things, I'm able to give it with my chest, and I don't care what anybody says. So stick with me. You learn a whole lot of stuff, child. But guys, I'm going to end this live now because I have to figure out what I'm going to make for dinner, since people on here like Angela, Isaac, and freaking Nicola Grady. Thank you so much, Lily. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys' support. I appreciate it. I know this was a very, very intense topic, and like I said, I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna continue to give a different perspective, or to merge my perspectives or to pick off where I left off on this live, to give you guys a broader understanding of what I'm speaking about when it comes to metaphysics, when it comes to spiritual psychology, when it comes to understanding who you are in spirit form. That's the only way to understand anything. That's the only way. Woo! Motivation at that. Thank you, because that's what I'm leading towards. I had mentioned in my last live, or the live before, that I was invited to a TED Talk, and my fears kept me from it. My fears kept me from it. I was invited to a TED talk. My fears of not being able to articulate my perspective clearly enough in that 18 minutes that they give you kind of took me away from it. And I was like, but I have another opportunity to do so. I know, greedy butt. Oh Lord, no red snapper. I just had some fried red snapper the other when I was at my mom's house. It was so damn good. But anyway, guys, chop chop, enough. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this live, and I'll see you in my next live. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye.